The story takes place in 17th century Malabar, during a time when caste, slavery, and superstition were deeply rooted in society. The movie begins with a young man named Thevan traveling through a dense forest with his companion Corin. Thevan is a Panin, a community traditionally associated with traveling and performing songs. While traveling, the two men become separated, and Thevan finds himself alone in the frightening forest. As darkness begins to fall, he desperately searches for a safe place to spend the night. Eventually, he discovers an enormous old mansion hidden deep inside the forest. With nowhere else to go, Thevan approaches the mysterious house, hoping its inhabitants will give him shelter for the night.
Thevan is welcomed into the mansion by a powerful and mysterious man named Mammootty. The house also has a cook named Cora, who appears to be a slave working under Poti. At first, Thevan feels relieved because he has finally found food and shelter. But as he spends more time inside the mansion, he begins to notice that something is terribly wrong. The atmosphere of the house is strange and oppressive. Poti behaves like a man who possesses enormous authority, and everyone around him seems afraid of him. Thevan soon realizes that leaving the mansion may not be as easy as entering it. Although Poti appears to be helping him, his intentions remain unclear. As the days pass, Thevan slowly discovers the dark secrets hidden inside the mansion. Poti is not an ordinary man. He possesses supernatural powers and has a terrifying connection with a mysterious creature called the Chathan. The Chathan has been serving the Poti family for generations. Poti uses its power to control the people around him and maintain his position of authority. Thevan begins to understand that the mansion is practically a prison. Poti controls everything, including food, movement, and information. Thevan also notices the strange relationship between Poti and Cora. Cora has lived under Poti's control for a long time and clearly knows much more about the house than he is willing to reveal. Thevan becomes increasingly desperate to escape. However, every attempt to understand the mansion only leads him deeper into its darkness. He realizes that Poti's greatest weapon is not simply supernatural power, but fear. Poti understands how to control people by making them believe that resistance is impossible. Thevan begins questioning everything he sees. He cannot tell whether the things happening inside the mansion are real or supernatural illusions. Meanwhile, Cora secretly reveals more about Poti's connection with the Chathan. Thevan understands that the creature's power is connected to the person who controls it. This gives him hope that Poti may not be completely invincible. The relationship between Thevan, Cora, and Poti becomes increasingly dangerous. Thevan and Cora realize that they cannot continue living under Poti's control. They begin looking for a way to turn the situation against him. But Poti is always several steps ahead. His supernatural abilities make direct resistance extremely difficult. Thevan also learns that the mansion represents a much larger system of oppression. Poti's power is built on fear, hierarchy, and the belief that certain people are naturally meant to rule, while others are meant to obey. The supernatural elements of the story therefore become a reflection of the real social conditions of that period. The mansion becomes a symbol of absolute power and oppression. Eventually, the conflict reaches its final stage. Thevan and Cora attempt to break free from Poti's control, but the situation becomes increasingly violent and supernatural. Thevan is forced to confront the terrifying reality behind the mansion and its master.
Poti's power begins to collapse as the secrets surrounding the Chthon are exposed. The final confrontation is not simply a battle between good and evil. It shows how greed, fear, slavery, and the desire for power can destroy both the person who controls others and those who remain trapped under that control. By the end, Thevan's journey through the mansion becomes a terrifying experience that changes his understanding of freedom, power, and survival. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Maluflix for more hidden Indian movie stories and unforgettable cinema. Maluflix. Stories that stay.